2, 1, 0. All engine running.
From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
I am here to discuss the so-called flying saucer. The Air Force interest in this problem has been due to our feeling of an obligation to identify and analyze to the best of our ability anything in the air that may have the possibility of threat.
Just before 9 o'clock this morning in New York, a passenger jet which had taken off from Boston slammed into the World Trade Center. Thick black smoke blotted out the Manhattan skyline.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Esoteric Roundtable podcast. The couch cult, though, this is another cult meeting, another session, if you will. Ben, are you feeling good, dude? Are you feeling ready to come back, man? We've been gone for a minute.
I've been busy ascending into the next level in the couch
for
cult.
sure. Absolutely. Well, the real reason we've been gone, if you guys didn't see the posts on the YouTube, is I've been moving into a new apartment. Pretty cool. You know how difficult that can be, getting shit set up and then, you know, all that good stuff. And then we tried to get back and then my computer broke. I still got some stuff going on and we're hoping that we can make it all the way through this. So without further ado, I think we can just go ahead and kick it off now.
Let's get it.
Sure, by the title of the video and the fact that I forgot to close this thing that you're looking at on the screen now that says Scientology, you can probably put together that the cult that we are going to be discussing today is Scientology.
Ooh. Now, this may come as a shock to some of you because you may be thinking, Scientology, they're a church. Oh, like some of my favorite actors and television stars are part of the Church of Scientology. However, we beg to differ.
But also, I think I've always heard of Scientology not so much as like a cult, but more so as like a scam, just like a money laundering type thing. But the more you hear about people like trying to leave and not being able to, and like the videos of people walking past there and they're supposedly like screaming for help and stuff like that, and not allowed to talk to outsiders. I mean, that's a cult. That's just all signs of a cult, you know? You come in, they use their power to drain you of your money, and they make you think that the big aliens are gonna save you, or I don't really. Anyways, we don't want to get too close into that right at the beginning here. But yeah, so I guess for the second episode of the Couch Cult, it seems a little silly to choose something that's not outwardly facing a cult, but I think me and Ben are both on the same level of agreedness when we say this is fucking a cult. Okay, this is a cult. This is a cult for sure. So, Ben, is there anything that you'd like to start us off with specifically?
Yeah. Number one being how Justin and I came to being interested in doing Scientology as an episode. It was also what spurred the idea for the Couch Cult in general. We grew up and like any teenager at some point got into skateboarding, and in turn that led us to the great realms of YouTube to learn tricks and kind of, you know, expound our knowledge on the almighty skateboarding tricks and things of that nature.
Which we did not do, by the way.
We did not do. We were terrible. I couldn't even ollie, which everyone made fun of me for. I just used to pop shove it to get up and down things if I could. But like anybody who's ever gone through skateboarding YouTube, you've likely seen Braille Skateboarding. And their frontman, the founder, the famous Aaron Cairo.
My name is Aaron Cairo.
My name is
San Francisco sponsored skateboarder from the San Francisco Bay Area. Yeah, that one, dude.
Yeah. So what kicked this off was Justin one morning just sent me a message. We often just exchange dumb things between each other, sending dumb videos. And Justin said,
Right.
he goes, bro, can you believe that Aaron Cairo, the guy we watched on Braille all these years, is a pretty big time leader in the Church of Scientology? I was unaware of that. And he sent me videos supporting. There was a video that the Church of Scientology released like 12 years ago, and Aaron was talking about his journey as a Scientologist.
How
And this is
Scientology
not-
like makes him a better skateboarder, a better
and
problem
helped him learn
solver.
tricks.
and
Now,
trick.
I do want to preface this by saying I have nothing against Aaron Cairo.
No, I
really
mean,
enjoy his skateboarding
in terms of
content.
like whatever quote unquote cringy content people talk shit to him about, but he's done a lot for children's organizations and stuff like that, and around the Bay Area and stuff with skateboarding. So
Yeah,
that part's cool.
it could be
The
a good
whole
guy, but
cult
he's
leader
also
thing part not super cool, but
not super cool. But I do want to preface this is not a shot at Aaron Cairo. It just
yeah,
kind of
I'm not
deeper-
100% sure that he's himself is like a fucking cult. But at the same time, I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, well, I knew him as a skateboarder, so he's going to be a good guy. I don't know. Because can you be
don't know
at the
this man.
highest level of some shit like that without being crazy? You know what I'm saying? Like crazy, not in like a mental way, but I mean crazy as in like doing some weird shit, right?
Yeah.
Like I
And
feel like we hear that about every leader of anything. They
Yeah.
got there doing weird shit.
And what brought it up was Aaron Cairo was recently promoted to like the leader of Scientology in the greater San Francisco Bay, California area.
Right.
So he is like part like over the recruitment team of getting people to join the Church of Scientology. And just some funny facts behind Scientology. Let's dive into the founder of the
Yeah,
Church
man.
of Scientology.
Let's get
Justin.
into him. Let me pull up a little AI picture I have of the fellow. Excuse the fact he looks like a certain ex-president, but that's in front of the building, you know. Yeah, man.
That
So
is
that's
not our
our
former
man,
ex-president.
L. Ron Hubbard. What was it? What was his first name?
Lafayette, like the city of
Lafayette.
Louisiana.
Lafayette Ron Hubbard. Yeah, man, this guy. So he was originally a science fiction author. Funny
Which
enough.
is already the first red flag.
Yeah, so yeah, he's a science fiction author. Not doing very well. He did well enough in like the prints. I forget what they're called now, but they were kind of like disposable prints, kind of one off, kind of read it, throw it away type things. They were kind of like comic books, sort of. I forget the term for them exactly, but it was like a temporary comic book type thing. That's kind of all he was doing a pretty shitty job, and he ended up going into the military. And he was pretty much, by all accounts, a pretty shitty soldier. They always said that he was like always like sick, quote unquote, always dealing with something. He had some eye issues. He lied about how he got them. I'm not even sure the real actual way he got them because there's so many stories. He told some people there was a bomb that went off so close to his face that it fucked him up. He told somebody he got shot. He told the doctor that he was exposed to too much tropical sunlight. So probably that one if there was actually anything wrong at all. But he also, while he was in the military, requested psychiatric help for things like suicidal thoughts and things like that, which, you know, I don't ever want to just be like, which, you know, he was lying about. He just wanted to get out because who knows? I mean, maybe he hated it so bad he was like, fuck this, I'd rather kill myself, you know, which is not good for anybody.
The history does show that he was willing to go some pretty far lengths to make up things like tropical sunlight and bomb exploding, and now it's just suicide the easy way out.
Right. Now it's like, well, I'm going to kill myself if you don't. But, you know, at the same time.
Yeah. So to me, the first and biggest red flag is the fact that he was a science fiction author, which will become more prevalent later on when we discuss some of the beliefs of the Church of Scientology.
Exactly.
But also the fact that he was proven to be a pathological liar and a little bit of a coward. He was already in the Navy. And in World War II, he briefly commanded 2 naval ships and was removed from command of those 2 ships. So, doesn't really seem like a stand-up guy in the eyes of our government. Also, doesn't really seem that he's always very truthful.
Which,
So,
by the
2 red
way,
flags.
I want to pause in there. That is not a criteria for me to be a good person. To be a good person in the eyes of our government, they can go fuck themselves.
Exactly.
To be well adjusted to a sick society is not, does not make you well adjusted. Not make you not. I don't know. I forgot the rest of the quote, but yeah, you can find that somewhere and make something philosophical out of it. Anyways, Ben, continue. Not that I fucked your flow up.
Well, anyways, regardless of if the
But anyways, like I was
government's
saying,
seen
no,
him
I'm
in a good light or not. If the government's seen him in a good light or not, it's just easy to see that Hubbard had some issues with his
with wanting to work.
His work ethic was very poor. He wasn't a very good writer in the science fiction era. But one big thing that he did write early in his career in 1950 was Dianetics, the Modern Science of Mental Health. So he claimed to be a pretty big mental health expert, which is funny because he did drop out of college at the George Washington University.
And he also wanted to kill himself in the army, apparently.
Also wanted to kill himself. So I wouldn't really want to take mental health advice from somebody
He's
who's
like,
oh,
yeah, man.
Kill myself. Which I say.
I really hope you get better because I'm not going to be around next week.
Yeah, maybe his whole hook was that, I've been through it. I know what it's like to be suicidal. I can help you. I guess maybe he could use it and twist it like that.
Right.
Like any good cult leader, they're pretty charismatic and pretty good at convincing
Yeah.
people that they can help them and make their life better at the next level.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Hubbard also, just like our old pal from the Heaven's Gate cult, was a criminal.
Dun, dun,
Shocker.
dun.
Now, granted, it's really no big crimes that he committed. One was petty theft in 1948. He stole some stuff, a little petty theft, and then he was committed. He was convicted of fraud in France, and the fraud that he was convicted of was in absentia, which means that he just didn't show up for his legal proceedings. And the jurisdiction of that legal
What was it
system
about? It was about the Dianetics, right? It was about using Dianetics as a...
Yeah, it seems that way. I really didn't look too far into that. I just saw he was convicted of fraud and thought that was kind of crazy because it just, so far as in the first 2 episodes, it seems to be a recurring theme that, these little cult leaders had some criminal activity or little skeletons in the closet they don't want anybody to know about.
Right.
Justin, let's turn it over to you. I've been talking for a good while here. Anything else you have on L. Ron Hubbard? There's some more interesting stuff coming up with this guy.
Yeah, L. Ron, he's just interesting in himself, man. I think it's super crazy that people know that he used to write science fiction, and then they're like, all right, at least you know what I'm saying? No offense to the Bible folks, but at least they don't say and John also wrote fanfic. You know what I'm saying? Or he, this guy also wrote, camel jokes. He could fucking carved jokes about camels into stone after he got done writing about God and shit like that. They were when they did their spiritual text, they said it was, meaningful and angels and this came from God and blah, blah, blah.
I mean, imagine, J.R.R. Tolkien creating the Church of the Elvish or something. Now, the
nerds are doing it with the Jedi shit. Nothing to my fellow nerds. I love Star Wars too. Maybe not to a point to do the whole Jedi shit. But anyways, they're kind of taking over the Jedi thing or whatever. So I guess it's been done, but at least they know. They know it's from Star Wars. People go into the Scientology shit from what I can tell. They really genuinely believe it. You know what I'm saying?
In the Dianetics, or something.
I don't know. It's weird, man.
Yeah, some of their new machinery, new mechanisms.
They got a lot going on. He it seems like when he could tell the whole religious thing wasn't working out for a little bit, he kind of wanted to do some political stuff. He wanted to take over some stuff, and that kind of brings me to. My PC would stop being weird. Okay, that's good. I'm just blinding light. I love that. Project Normandy from Scientology. Ben, I'm not sure if you're ready to get into this.
I actually am unfamiliar with it. I know about the other project, which we'll get into.
The operation. Okay. Here, I'll get into Project Normandy here. So we're on, the deepest of deep dive websites, Wikipedia. So,
That's our top secret. We'll share it with you guys.
Yeah. We don't really tell everybody because we don't want everybody on our swag. But you guys, you do so much for us. You waited so long for us to come back. The least we could do is search far and wide for the best sources for you. Okay.
This is part of being a cult member of the Couch Cult. Okay.
Yeah.
You're one of the select few who know of this esoteric information.
In the 1970s, the Church of Scientology Corporation used a front group called the United Churches of Florida to purchase the Fort Harrison Hotel for $3 million. The church established their headquarters in the Fort Harrison Hotel and dubbed it their Flagland Base. In 1977, so 7 years later, an FBI raid on Scientology headquarters uncovered the Church of Scientology documents marked top secret that referred to their secret operation to take over Clearwater as Project Normandy. The document states its purpose as obtaining enough data on the Clearwater area to be able to determine what groups of individuals B1 will need to penetrate and handle in order to establish area control. The document says its major target is to fully investigate the Clearwater City and County area so we can distinguish our friends from our enemies and handle as needed. On November 3rd, 1979, the Clearwater Sun ran an article with the headline, "Scientologists Plot to City Takeover." And later stories claim that the Scientologists also had international plans to take over the world. Bro. The St. Petersburg Times won a Pulitzer Prize for one of their stories that exposed some of the criminals' wrongdoings for the Church of Scientology. What is that? Cazares also noted that he found it odd that a religious group would resort to using code names for a project to take control of a town and call the project a paramilitary operation by a terrorist group. That is a very good point, dude. I can't tell you anything outside of the military that's like, okay, we need to make Operation fucking go get pizza or something.
Hey, I better watch out. The Southern Baptists are planning to take over, Picayune right now.
No shit, huh? Operation
Mexican Restaurant After Church is what it's called.
Operation Scream at Waitress.
Yeah.
The Church of Scientology targeted Cazares, attempting to entrap him in a sex scandal. Scientology also staged a phony hit-and-run accident with Cazares in an attempt to discredit him. Cazares and his wife sued the Church of Scientology for $1.5 million. The church settled in 1986. So they definitely did that shit if they settled, by the way. So that's some more cult stuff right there. Staged a phony hit and run and tried to entrap him in a sex scandal.
All of that just to stop information from coming out about the Church of Scientology. This is going to be the first tidbit in a long line of things that you'll find with Scientology of them trying to shut people up to keep them from talking negatively.
Yeah, there's also, by the way, I don't want to go through them right now, mostly because it's a lot to watch, and I don't want to get in trouble for showing people stuff, but then there is the whole Clearwater hearings on YouTube, the original VHS tapes of them, so you can watch them. And the people are pissed, man. The people are not happy with Scientology at all.
What's crazier? I looked this up while you were talking about this because I kind of did know about the Clearwater, Florida incident. I didn't know they had codenamed it Project Normandy, which is why I wasn't familiar with it. But I was familiar with them trying to take over Clearwater, Florida.
Right.
After all of this, there is still a Church of Scientology located in Clearwater, Florida. They still have a location there.
Really?
So they allowed them to stay.
That's crazy.
It's there to this day. It's called Church of Scientology Flag Service Organization. It's still there, and That's
crazy.
A massive building. It looks like a hotel, which is weird, but they all kind of look like weird hotel buildings, like that famous one you see in Hollywood or wherever it is, that big blue building with the big Scientology letters on the front.
Yeah, that's what I have as the as
Yeah.
our little cover here. Yeah, dude, that
Matter
is
of fact,
crazy. Oops.
they're pretty active in Florida. They have one in Miami, one in Orlando, Tampa, Largo, Ocala. So they're still
I'll
pretty much.
did
It
remember
looks
shout
like
out.
there's
Let's go.
two. Looks like there's two things. So they still have a Scientology information center in Clearwater, Florida, as well. So Scientology.
What do you think their
is still,
information center is? Do you think that's like where they store their people's personal information, or just kind of
I guess so, or like
their
because,
therapy notes whenever they're going through what makes them all depressed and shit? They just write all their notes down and put it in an information center or something.
likely that, and also to keep up with their payments, make sure they're paid up. Because part
yeah.
of this is a tier system, and if you didn't know, this is a little bit of a spoiler. The Church of Scientology is pretty well known for having very expensive tiers. To buy in usually starts with like a $55,000 payment to go into the beginner tier, and then you have to make incremental larger payments incrementally to go to the next tier, until eventually you give them so much money that you are given all the divine knowledge of the Scientology
Yes, absolutely.
beings. But that's an important piece of information that is talked about a lot by former members. But yeah, there's actually 3 locations in Clearwater, Florida. I was mistaken.
That's
there's
crazy.
3. There's Church of Scientology, Mission of Bel Air. I am a moron. Bel Air.
Beliar.
Bel Air. Bel Air. I was reading that fast and I was like, Bel Air. Like,
so is it like it's a different like area, just a church in a different spot or something?
They're all 3 in Clearwater.
Like a different side of town or something, you think? Or?
Yeah, there's 2 of them. So the flag service building or whatever like that is right there by the Mission of Bel Air, and then the information services building is also right there. So they're all 3 pretty much within, looks to be like a 10-mile radius.
Yeah, I wonder what that's about. I wonder if it's just like office buildings and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? That's probably what that kind of makes sense, I guess.
Well, I'm mistaken here. So Clearwater is very close to Tampa. So they have 2 locations, Clearwater, 1 Tampa. I was mistaken on that. I'm finding this out now. I'm just surprised they're still in Clearwater. There's we ain't leaving.
Yeah, for real, huh?
Yeah.
So did you...
Project Normandy?
Yeah, you have one to talk about as well, right? You have an operation that they took part in?
I also don't know a whole lot about this, but I'll read through it kind of like how you did with Project Normandy.
For sure.
So
let me pull it up. Is it going to be our super secret trusted?
Yeah, it's Wikipedia page. I have it pulled up. I'll just read along. I read along with yours on Project Normandy. So there was also another in 1970 from the Church of Scientology. If one Project Normandy wasn't enough, welcome to Operation Snow White. So Operation Snow White was a criminal conspiracy by the Church of Scientology during the 1970s to purge unfavorable records about Scientology and its founder. So remember when I just said Project Normandy, how they were trying to put him in a sex scandal and a fake hit and run to keep this information from coming out? This was a widespread conspiracy within the Church of Scientology to prevent negative things from coming out about L. Ron Hubbard. This project included a series of infiltrations into and thefts from 136 government agencies, foreign embassies, and consulates, as well as private organizations critical of Scientology, carried out by church members in more than 30 countries.
Oh my God.
It was one of the largest infiltrations of the United States government in history.
Fuck, 30 countries?
With 5,000 covert agents.
Bro.
This operation also exposed the Scientology plot Operation Freakout. A third operation.
What the hell?
Because Operation Snow White was the case that initiated the U.S. government's investigation of the church. Under this program, Scientology operatives committed infiltration, wiretapping, and theft of documents in government offices, most notably those of the U.S. Internal Revenue
The
Service.
fucking
Yeah,
IRS, bro.
I'm not too mad about the Internal Revenue
Yeah,
Service.
no, I mean,
don't
fucking,
really like
but
them too
that's
much,
just
yeah.
crazy that they're doing it.
Yes. 11 highly placed church executives, including the one and only Mary Sue Hubbard, the wife
Mary
of
Sue
L. Ron Hubbard.
herself.
Third wife of L. Ron Hubbard, by the way. Not the first and the second just didn't pan out the way he thought.
Yeah, they had evil demons and aliens inside of them.
Marital issues, lying, and
Well, it's
science
not
fiction.
only him, dude. It's the monsters that they had inside of them.
Yeah.
Honestly,
So-
dude, I think my wife has a angry alien from that got thrown in a volcano. So sometimes, you know what I'm saying? I think I might need a Dianetic book.
The notable thing about this operation is that Mary Sue Hubbard was second in command of the entire organization. They pleaded guilty and were convicted in federal court of obstructing justice, burglary of government offices, and theft of documents and government property. The case was United States versus Mary Sue Hubbard. That's pretty crazy.
That is
And
insane.
we also,
what's
in
Freak
the
Out?
midst of just talking about this, discovered a whole new operation, Operation Freakout. So let's just kind of go through
Operation
that real quick.
Freakout, also known as Operation PC Freakout, was a Church of Scientology covert plan intended to have the U.S. author and journalist Paulette Cooper imprisoned or committed to a psychiatric hospital. What the fuck?
There's a string. I told you guys this was
The
gonna
plan,
be the first
undertaken
for a long
in 1976 following years of church-initiated lawsuits and covert harassment, was meant to eliminate the perceived threat that Cooper posed to the church and obtain revenge for her publication in 1971 of a highly critical book, The Scandal of Scientology. We need to find that, Ben. The Federal Bureau of Investigation discovered documentary... Jesus, I don't know why my brain just shut down. Excuse me. The FBI discovered documentary evidence of the plot and the preceding campaign of harassment during an investigation into the Church of Scientology in 1977, eventually leading to the church compensating Cooper in an out-of-court settlement. Again, another out-of-court settlement with these fucking guys. Doesn't that keep happening?
Yeah.
Damn.
So,
Damn.
looking into the scandal of Scientology right now. Let's see. It doesn't give me a synopsis. All I can see was like the stigma surrounding the book. It was published in 1971. There was 220 pages. Paulette Cooper wrote it. About 50,000 copies of the book were printed. So not in the realm of like books and New York Times bestsellers, not a whole lot. So they were concerned enough to try and get her committed into a psychiatric institution or jail over 50,000 copies. So, I mean,
oh my God, there's no
population
way.
of New York is far more than 50,000.
Okay. So let's just keep going then, Ben.
It's more.
You want to keep going?
You keep finding it. The more we keep
Operation Cutthroat was one of a number of operations against regional outlets of the Better Business Bureau. In this case, the St. Louis branch of the Better Business Bureau. In July 1977, the FBI seized a number of documents regarding infiltration and background information about the St. Louis BBB. Bro, that's up the fucking road, man. Operation Daniel and Dynamite. I'm sorry, you go ahead. I'm like a kid.
Operation Cat. Operation Cat. Like CAT, like house cat. September 16, 1975 was a plan to make a mockery and hold up to ridicule the computer, the security services, and authority in relation to FOI, freedom of information, by planting grossly false information in governmental agencies, especially security services files, for later public retrieval and ridiculing exposure. Let's see.
There's just so many. I'm blown away.
Yeah. The objective was to hold up the American security to ridicule, as outlined in the GO by L.R. Ron Hubbard. written by David Gaiman. Let's see.
Operation Orange Juice was a plan to attack Florida State Representative Frank Williams, who was sponsoring a psychological practices bill which could have restricted the activities of Scientology in Florida. The GO suspected that Williams was obviously being pushed by some mental health individual behind the scenes. Yeah. Operation Orange Juice.
I'm going to just save us some time here. I'm going to start listing off the entire list of operations carried out by the Church of Scientology. Just right quick. Justin, just keep count of how many this is as I'm naming them, okay? For sure, Operation Big Mouth. Operation Bulldozer Leak. Operation Bunny Bust. Operation Cat. Operation Chaos Leak. Operation China Shop. Operation Cutthroat. Operations Daniel and Dynamite. Operations Devil's Wop. Operation Fickle. Operation Freakout. Operation Funny Bone. Operation Hydra. Operation Information. That's a funny one. Operation Italian Fog. Operation Juicy Clanger. Operation Keeler. Operation Kettle. Operation Oscar. Operation Orange Juice. Operation Paris. Operation Paste Up. Operation Random Harvest. Operation Rook. Operation Search and Destroy. Operation Shake and Bake. Operation Shell Game. Operation Smoke. Operation Snapper. Operation Snow White. Operation Sore Throat. Operation Strike. Operation Yellow. And there are more.
There's a couple I gotta click on. Okay, Juicy Clanger. That's an obvious, right? Clanger. Targeted tax records of prominent politicians and celebrities. Scientology operatives infiltrated the Los Angeles office of IRS and stole confidential files of California's Governor Jerry Brown, Los Angeles' Mayor Tom Bradley, and the singer Frank Sinatra, as well as attempting to steal John Wayne's tax records. The church appears to have intended to blackmail the IRS.
Dude, this is insane. I did not realize all this in our research before this episode.
We obviously didn't even fucking... We've had so much going on, dude. We've really been trying to put this shit together, and finally we were like, fuck it. Let's just wing it. We usually do better when we do that. And this has turned out
pretty well so far because we have infinite material to work off of in the Search of Scientology.
And Sore Throat, that's the other one. Oh, it's so long. Okay, I'll just read the first paragraph here.
I didn't think about this when I started listing them off, so I apologize. If we need to cut that, we can.
No, but absolutely not. Value. They need to know. Operation Sore Throat was a major campaign mounted against the American Medical Association. Several Scientologist agents were infiltrated into the AMA as employees. One of them who gained access to meetings of the AMA's board of directors. Damn. In June 1975, the AMA found itself repeatedly embarrassed by leaks of confidential documents to the press by an unknown source who called themselves Sore Throat, making fun of the deep throat thing of Watergate, which Family Guy made fun of. That's how I found out about it. It was Family Guy making fun of it, just like pretty much everything in my life. So, yeah. There was a Scientologist who got into the American Medical Association's fucking board of directors meetings and was leaking their information and calling himself Sore Throat, which is fucking hilarious, by the way. I appreciate the throat references when we're doing things. I like that. We should cue that up.
What's wild or what's more crazy? It's unbelievable to me. I finally found the word I was looking for. is that, you know, anyone who is about to pay $55,000 for their initial fee, that's just from what I've heard on the low end of things, right, from other former members who've spoken out. I've watched videos of former members of the church talking about they're very anti-psychology, they're anti-psychiatry, any medical psychology or psychiatry. They're very much against, they believe, the medical terms or the medical field that's involved with mental health is a scam, which is hilarious coming from a church founded by a science fiction author whose whole belief system goes on something he invented called Dianetics, which, by the way, Justin, let me see if I can pull up the Dianetics machine deal they use for a test.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, the concept is that there was bad
Called an E-meter.
aliens, and they got frozen, and then they got put into a volcano. The volcano killed the aliens, and their souls were floating up, and they got caught, and they got thrown into humanity, and that's what creates like angst and depression and all mental health problems. They're literally aliens attacking you mentally. So that's the shit that people are I mean, you know, and apparently that's not it. If you ask them, that's not it, blah blah blah. But people say when you get higher up in the ranks or whatever, like after you pay a gajillion dollars, that's when they tell you that everything is fucking frozen alien souls. I don't I don't even know.
Which is crazy, but just can you pull up a picture of an E-meter, like E-meter?
Yeah, for sure.
This is what they use during like your consultation to tell you if you have good or bad energy, or you have, and they claim that like you can feel normal but still have bad energy. You hold these two metal things, and then they'll ask you questions you don't even answer, and they'll have this little gauge, this needle jump and bop and tell you if you have good or bad energy. And someone is reading this, someone who did not go to medical school, mind you, telling you have bad energy.
You got bad blood, boy.
Yourself. The only way to purge yourself from this bad energy, because we care about you so much, and we think that you should really take care of this, is pay us $50,000.
You got bad blood.
Dude, this whole thing is just wild to me in every aspect. The more I look into this, dude, the more I don't have sympathy for people involved in this.
Speaking of people involved, do you want to go over? Now we have a list, and needless to say, we were almost a little disappointed because there was like a few names that we recognized. There's other like names that are like influential and big, but I feel like the day of like celebrity presence in Scientology may be over, which is definitely for the best because that was a lot of money poured. But yeah, like Tom Cruise, I don't think he's in it any, or there, supposedly they say he's not in it anymore, but you think that's probably just like a cover-up type thing.
Which, I mean, to me, it's neither here nor there. I still enjoy his movies. Like Top Gun Maverick, to me, was one of the best movies I've watched in the past decade. I enjoyed it a lot.
I've never been a huge Tom Cruise fan, even. So that's.
It's not even Tom Cruise fan. It's just Top Gun.
The movies
Top
he
Gun
makes
movies.
are.
Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick are incredible, which I'm really big into aviation.
That Danny Masterson guy who's in prison for a long time for doing some pretty
that
foul
70s
things.
show you may know him from, or The Ranch from Netflix.
Who else?
There
was one more that we John Travolta. John Travolta. So, you know.
Which all in all, man, like I'm not saying that them being involved with Scientology makes them bad people.
Right.
I do believe they're involved in a bad organization or a cult, as we call it, because after all, you're a part of our couch cult.
Absolutely.
We're a good cult. One of the only ones. We're the only good cult.
Yeah, we're the only good
welcome.
Cult. You should.
You have no
invite all your
choice.
friends.
So take a seat on your armchair, your couch, or your sofa, or your love seat, and just kick back and
kick it, man.
Just remember, you're in a cult. Tell all your family. Tell all your friends.
Yeah. Post it on Facebook.
But back to this, because they're involved in this doesn't mean they're bad people. Leave your own opinions to the Danny Masterson situation on he's a bad person or not. The law says he is.
Yeah,
he's in jail for it. John Travolta, I've had friends who've met him before, said he's incredibly nice. He's very kind-hearted. That doesn't mean anything to me.
Right.
Tom Cruise.
He recently landed in a plane around you recently. Am I remembering correctly? Was it?
He's a commercial pilot.
Didn't he like land a plane in a little airport around where you are recently? Anyways, I'm thinking some Facebook story. Anyways, that's not super important. But yeah, I remember hearing about that. I think it was him.
And Michael Pena. That sounds familiar to me.
Michael Pena.
He was in
I think
Shooter.
That's pretty
cool. Other things.
I think that pretty much wraps it up about Scientology. Do you think so, Ben? I mean,
Yeah.
it's really just about like the shit that they're doing. Like they say they're just like a religion, whatever. They have all these fucking operations and shit. I mean, that alone lets you know that they're a lot more than a religion. But
Yeah. Which then again, we could say the same about Catholicism, but we won't get into that today.
yeah,
But
and maybe next couch cult. But yeah, what do you guys think? What do you guys think down below? I know there's probably some more that we're missing out on, so if you guys wanted to come and touch back, then we can for sure. We wanted to do more for this episode, but I just kept running into fucking problems. But we should be done with that. So next time we're
glad to be
coming
back.
at you guys. Yeah, exactly. We're super stoked to be back. We should be back more on a more regular schedule here now. We're stoked to get back to do some more roundtabling as well. So if you guys have any suggestions, you know what I'm saying, on some people you want to come see on the show or some different opposing views that you'd like to see, anything like that, you just let us know and we'd like to make that happen. But ladies and gentlemen, I think that pretty much covers it for today. Ben, do you have anything else to say?
oh no, just glad to be back. Sorry it took us so long, but as we said, if you don't see us for a while, we'll be back.
We will be back. The cult is always around. And with that being said, please, ladies and gentlemen, do us a favor and yourself. Please remember to keep an open mind.